Brett, do you remember a lot about that Nebraska game you played as a true freshman in 2011? And if so, what really stood out? I know it wasn't your first game; it was like your fourth, I think. But what do you remember about what stood out to you about it?
Just the hype surrounding the game. I remember that week, just everybody. I wasn't extremely well known, but I remember people that followed football in my classes or seeing people downtown, just the people that would say, hey, let's win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, okay, well, we're trying, we're putting in the work. I remember, and I remember walking, because I was in the dorms at that time, seeing the addition, the extra seating they put in. So the additional seating was kind of intimidating to see, just two whole new stands or whatever you call it. So it was definitely a lot of fun to play in that game. It was one of the funnest games I've ever played in here.
Really? I mean, you played pretty well. You threw a couple touchdowns. You looked like you played a good game. I mean, what do you remember about playing in the game specifically? I mean, did you think you played pretty well, or is there anything that stood out to you about that game compared to any of the other games that season?
I thought I played well. I really prepared for that game. That was a game that, being a freshman, I was extremely nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had the flu that week, so I was. There was a lot of trepidation, in advance, and I just remember, seeing, being in that position and looking over the scouting report and seeing the athletes that they had, and just saying, this is real college football. This is the real deal. So it's gonna be like that again this year, and I just can't wait to play them. It seems like so long since we played the games.
Right. Is it different for you, Brett? Whether you've played Nebraska, you've played Texas. I mean, I know every game's important, but when you're preparing to face a nationally ranked team, a non-conference game like this on the road, do you prepare any different as it would if this was a home game against who or whatever? Or do you try to approach them the same way?
Yeah, I approach every game the same way.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, obviously, the external distractions. You have to kind of put that into account, and I think we've been doing that. We've generated some crowd noise with our sound system, and tried our best to communicate plays, because I know it's going to be extremely challenging to do that in the heat of battle, but I think everybody's up to the challenge. We're all embracing it. That's about it.
What do you think are going to be? I mean, there are probably a lot of keys, but for this offense to keep that fast tempo, what do you need to do well to be able to move the ball against Nebraska and ultimately score? What are some of in your mind? What are some of the keys against a defense like that maybe has been susceptible in the past, but still, I'm sure has a lot of good athletes? What are the keys in your mind?
Plays. We definitely need to be on the same page, make sure that we're in the right formations at the right time. We get the signal, get the play calls, and then just read the defense and execute the plays. That's what it comes down to, is being able to execute and being able to block out the external noise and kind of putting aside the label of them being a national powerhouse, because we all are aware of it. Just going in there and playing football and recognizing our plays and what our game plan is, and going out there and just putting it all in.
Ask you one thing about Robert Huron. He caught 2 touchdowns in the game against Texas last year. He did catch one in the Nebraska game here. He's caught a lot of touchdowns. We know his big playability, but is there something you notice in him in some of these games with these bigger team, more high-profile teams, where he steps it up, or is that just his ability coming out there?
I think it's just his ability. Obviously, I think he's one of the best receivers in the country, and he's definitely got that X factor about him, and he's a playmaker. He's so explosive. He's able to make plays. He's able to run by defenders. He's able to make the crazy catch or whatever that may be. It's just, I'm just so happy to have him as a receiver, and I love playing with that guy.
Right. How important. First day of classes. I know you haven't gone through all your classes. What's maybe your favorite class, or you think is going to be your favorite class?
I enjoy Spanish just because I've taken it since high school, so I know some words, and I like trying to challenge myself, talking to native speakers and stuff like that. I'm not very good, but I definitely enjoy it.
What about what might be your most boring class that you think, or do you have one? Maybe you don't have one, but
well, I have an online class that doesn't look too fun. It's personal health. Then I have advertising the media. Actually, I think that's probably going to be fun, but definitely the first day was boring.
Gotcha.